things that worked for me in my math class is number talk. Last year I had children that really latched on and really understood, but I'm finding the kids this year are really struggling. And I'm not sure why this is happening. I don't know. Can anybody?
I found the same thing this year. So when I know we were talking earlier, I was really hoping that if we keep working at it and keep doing it, that hopefully by December we'll start seeing some growth. Because I just have so many that either aren't using the strategies or still just picking the one strategy that doesn't even work for the number talk.
Exactly. I found that, you know, even if we do number talk and they learn some strategies, they go back, they revert back to counting on or counting back by ones. And, you know, it takes so long.
Yeah, they always go back to counting on. Like, even though that we've taught the strategies and we've explained the strategies, but it seems like it always goes back to the counting on, that's the one strategy that they feel comfortable with. And so that's what they know. And I think that we've all discussed it on the ICANN and GLOSS forms that we've done and the assessments that we've done, that even though they really probably could be higher, that we have to rate them at, you know, the stage 4, because that's the stage that they always go back to.
But I am finding more and more that half the class is doing it and doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they've got their strategies down, and then the other half just have absolutely no clue.
I wonder why that is. I can't imagine why it's not working this year.
Because I'm a really great teacher.
Well, I think we have to tell them to use a different strategy. Okay, great, you can count on, but what else can you do?
That's why I eliminated counting on.
Yeah, she did. She actually came in and
she
did a number talk with my class, because I felt like I was doing the same thing and I could be a lot more effective with my number talks. I know she's been doing it, you know, after talking, she's been doing a really good job. So I asked her to come over, and she actually did them with my class. And so I really liked what she did. Is she listed those like 2 or 3 specific strategies that they could use to solve the problem. And so counting on, it was making tens, doubles, and doubles plus 1. So they had to figure out how that strategy worked. And so she was saying too that like some of her kids would be like, say they had it, but then she'd call on them, and they'd say, oh, you know, another strategy that didn't even make sense. So anyway, but it was
I counted by 2s, you know.
Yeah. But it was really helpful to see, you know, I think that we can learn so much from each other because we're all doing different things in our class. It was very helpful for me to see her do it in a different type of way.
But it helps to see that other people are having struggles also.
Right. Another thing I found that works this year is because the framework changed so much, and because I've taught second grade for 7 years, that now that it's changed so much that I have to read it every night before I get ready to teach it. So, I mean, I read it, make my copies, think I've got it in my head, but I really have to read the standard and really know, because there's so much more things from prior years that I expect them to do that they don't have to do, or that I don't expect them to do and they do have to do. So I really have to read into the standards. And then the same thing when I try to do my number talks is to use the numeracy project book. So I really have to just read the lesson that I'm going to teach literally the night before. So I read them all, get it ready for the week, but then before teaching it, like, I have to read it to understand it, because it's not what I'm used to teaching.
Well, and I think the frameworks have done a better job this year, because I know last year one of our frustrations was we were trying to follow them, but there was a lot of, what do you call it? It didn't always
go together.
Yeah, it was like they didn't build that background knowledge and the foundation first. So I think this year's done a much better job of that, and it also could be that just we're more comfortable with using them. But yeah, definitely teaching now, you can't go into it and open up a book and hope that you know what you're doing anymore.
Speaking of frameworks, another thing I found with the frameworks books is that the overview helps. If you go back and read the overview, it has a lot of information that will help you in understanding the lesson too. What they're really trying to
the overall
teach.
part,
Yes,
right, for the whole unit.
And I also think what Ms. Sexton has provided us with the units, the parent information letters before each unit has also been very helpful to give that parents that understanding.
She's pretty awesome.
So
very awesome.
Anything you'd like to share, Ms. Franklin?
One thing that I'm doing with my small groups is I'll back up and reteach the frameworks, or I'll put some of those frameworks that we've already done at stations. And another thing, I really like the extension activities so that I can push the kids that, you know, already really got the concept. So I really like the extension activities.
We have put some of them like into a center just so they can use again, and they're pretty
I just laminate them and
when you're doing your groups, Are y'all like, and so, you know, you have 3 different stations or whatever. Because I've done that too, where I put other frameworks. But are you doing like a numeracy project thing, and then, because I know we have our ICANN and Glosscon, which is separate, but are you still doing like a number sense thing in addition to like the skill that we're building on?
A lot of the numeracy project things have worked in the first unit, and they seem to work in the second unit as well. So you can find ones that kind of match with it, but I more use the numeracy project towards the number talks in the ICANN and Glosscon.
Okay. Well, that's what I was going with, but, and kind of doing like a spiral review during the other times.
Mm-hmm.
I pull small groups, and I see that helps some children. There's some that are still struggling, but the small groups do help.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm fortunate where I have, you know, the extra support in the classroom with the co-teacher, and then also para support during that time. Like, it's been very nice to be able to see where they are, especially with like the frameworks tasks. Say, okay, these aren't getting it, so we might do a frameworks task the next day, and then before moving the other kids on, we'll like pull a group to remediate. And so that's been very, very helpful.
You know what else I do with the frameworks? I just remembered I have been sending them an extra one home so they can play with the parents.
Oh, really?
Yep. So I know we have taken home games, but a lot of them they can make up, and they'll be like, my parents didn't even know what it meant, and then they get to teach their parents too.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
But
I
we
like
sent
that
home
idea.
the addition strategies.
Yes.
I've had so many parents go, I don't understand, because it's
I
so
have the same
different
thing.
from what we've learned. Like, we weren't taught the strategies.
Exactly.
And so now, you know, I think it's pushing us out of our comfort zone a little bit, but I think it's making me a better teacher.
Exactly.
So